Day 2 of What Are You Growing? So, it's not a game show. Today we're going to John, the book of John, chapter 15, and verse 16. It reads, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you, that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should abide, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give it to you." So I love this one, right? Because it really shows, one, how God appoints us into roles. So, yes, we have free will to decide whatever we want to do with our lives. But when God calls you, it's like he's actually choosing you. So, despite the fact that we may feel like, okay, I had the free will to do what God has, that falls into that category of permissible will versus God's perfect will. That's a whole nother message. But nevertheless, when we act and fall into accordance of God's will, he chooses us and appoints us to do certain things for him. So if we're living in that purpose that God has for us, then we're going to bear fruits that are aligned with what God has for us. So a good measure of seeing, one, if you are living to God's purpose, is the fruit that you'll see from it. Sometimes we think that just because we're doing something for the Lord, it should like magnificently grow and sprout, but that might not be what God has for you to do. And then the last part of this is that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give it to you. So remember a few weeks back I did a message about the desires of your heart. God gives you the desires of your heart if you are living according to his will. So a lot of people miss that because we want these things and we're trying to figure out why we're not getting them, but it might not be what God wants for you. It's what you want for you. So you got to die to yourself and remove those selfish things. You get anything that God wants for you when you ask for it, especially if you're living according to his will. And those things that you're receiving, whether they be material or they may be in spirit, or just intangible things that you're experiencing, those are the fruits of your labor. Those are the fruits of your good work that you're doing for God. So you got to check all these things every day. You constantly checking them to make sure that you're living according to his will. And that your fruits are bearing things that are righteous, positive, that are upbringing, uplifting, and that's where you're really going to see that change in your life.